All right, Dev. So it's nice seeing you today. I wanted to put this together so that way, because we're almost playing catch up, right? Because we haven't seen each other in a while. I want to make sure that you have an understanding as to where your swing is, what you do well, what you could work on, what you do pretty good but could improve on, right? And give you MLB examples of these actions in these positions that you need to get into, all right? So let's go through this really quick. The first thing I pointed out in the video when we briefly spoke at practice today, right, was this triangular position that you have your head and your feet in. It's a good athletic position, right? And as long as you're comfortable in this position, this stance is excellent. And what told me that you were comfortable today in practice was actually how calm you wiggle your bat here. That actually tells me that your body's calm, and it tells me that you're in rhythm with the pitcher and you're in rhythm with your body as well. You have a good understanding as to how your body has to dance, all right? From there, what we need to look at, right, is how does the stride leg relate and work in sequence with the hands? So as we stride forward, our hand should come back. It's more our elbow. Our elbow should pinch our lat. Our lat's the muscle that's behind the shoulder blade here, and that allows us to load our hands. When players think hands, they think they have to bring their hands back this way, but really the elbow should drive back that way, in which that will naturally load your hands. So think about it like you're elbowing somebody in the face, someone that's behind you. That's going to load your hands back. That's the hand load we're talking about in baseball. That's the position we want to be in, and I'm going to show you examples of that in a little bit. All right. The next thing we want to look at, right, is during the stride is, do you coil the back hip, and do you create good tension and good positioning in the back leg? And I'll explain what that is in a second. So the back hip coil means that the hip should start to rotate more this way, more away from home plate, and back this way, and you create tension with that. So you think about it like a top, right? So I don't know if you know what a top is. I'm probably dating myself, but if you look it up, it's just like you're just spinning it like a dreidel almost. So when you spin a dreidel, you counter rotate it and then you spin it, right, to get the fastest, quickest speed that you possibly can. That's what you need to do with that back hip socket. Is you want to coil it backwards, have counter rotation to create tension, and then snap it forward. All right. And then when we talk about this, the lower half, like I was telling you today in practice, you just kind of want to sit, because what happens is a lot of kids will lift this leg up when they go to stride, and they come out of their back leg completely. So there's a counter action that needs to take place here. So much like the stride leg and the hands have to work together, the stride leg actually and the back leg has to go together. And this might be a lot. I'm giving you a lot of information here at once, but it's going to all be in one place that you can go back to as long as you save it, and I'm going to post it on the YouTube channel. All right? So now, when this leg goes forward and you stride, we need to sink. So we want to sink as we go forward, and we also want to load our hands as we go forward and load our back hip. We want to make sure we have those boxes checked. So let's see what you do well and what you don't do well. All right? All right, so you lift your leg up, right? And look at, so we look at the back hip right there. You see it, you do it. You load your hip, right? You create tension in the lower half, and like what stands out in this position here, right? This is the exact position you want to be in during a leg kick, where we have this angle from the hip. We want to recreate that triangle as we fall forward, right? So all we're trying to do is make sure we keep that back hip inside this back foot as we fall forward, while keeping the hip coiled. And the other thing to stand out here is the fact that there's counter rotation in the knee as well. So all of these things are great, right? And then when we talk about the hands, right, if I go back a second here, the elbow goes back. You see how the elbow goes back like you're elbowing somebody in the face, which allows your hands to get into a pretty good position at the point of foot landing, right? Right about there, right? And at the point of foot landing, we want the barrel riding along the backside of our head. So you do an astronomical amount of things correct that you may not even realize. And this could be just from watching. This could be drills you were doing with previous coaches. Whatever the case may be, you do a lot of things right. Now, the thing that I pointed out today in practice, right, was the width of your stride. And the reason why I pointed out the width of your stride is because the more the legs get separated, the less athletic we become. The less rotational we become. If I was to do a split and try to rotate my hips, am I going to be able to be as explosive with them? No, right? If it, now the example and the analogy I gave you at practice was we want to keep our legs just outside of our knees, right? And we want to keep our knees just outside of our shoulders. So if we go back to your stance here, right? Your stance starts off in that triangle position. All we need to do is stride a foot size forward this way. So in terms of the distance that you travel, you want to cut it in half. And what that's going to allow you to do is that's going to allow you to keep that tension in the back hip longer. So look at the back hip right now. So watch. Right there. Perfect, right? But then, as you go into your landing, watch what happens to the back hip. The hip's already rotating. And the reason why that is because the body in the anatomy naturally wants to rotate because your front side's getting too disconnected from the back side. All right? And if you want to rewatch it, go back and watch that part again so you can see exactly what I'm saying. All right? So all in all, though, if we were to pause this frame here, you're going to see that your landing is very close to the average big leaguers, which is crazy to think, right? And a lot of kids that don't know this are like flabbergasted when I teach them this and show them this, right? But it's the truth. You do very minimal things wrong in your swing, and it's a really, really good swing, right? Some swings, like I told you at practice, you time the your hands a little bit too early, so you'll start your hands before your foot gets down. The foot needs to trigger the activation of the hands in the bat. If you start the hands early before you land, you're susceptible to off speed, and it limits your adjustability. All right, so everything's good here. So what we're gonna see next, right, is the elbow is gonna come down to the hip, which is gonna allow the bat to start working behind you and behind your shoulder blade, which is really important. The knee's gonna start driving downward as you start to rotate. The knee rotating triggers the hip rotating, and that's really important to understand. So the knee's gonna rotate, which is gonna activate the hip. All right. So again, let me review what's gonna happen here. This elbow is gonna come down to your hip. That's gonna trigger the barrel dropping behind your shoulder or behind your body, so the barrel can rotate with your body as you rotate your core. All right. Then what's gonna happen is because you started rotating your lower half now, the knee's gonna drive down, the hip's gonna drive down this way. All right. So I'm gonna play this slow so you can see what I'm saying. So watch the upper half first, right? Elbows. See how the elbow's starting to come down to the hip? The barrel's starting to go behind you. You see that right there? That's super important to understand. All right. Then from there, if we go back and then we watch the lower half, watch how the knee drives down before the hip rotates. The knee's driving down, and we're good. Good release of the back leg and the back foot. That means that you have positive energy being transferred forward from the backside. And then we go to contact point, and you're a little bit out in front. You're a little bit out in front. And you are a little bit out in front, generally speaking, on most pitches. And the other thing I said to you at practice is, on fastballs, we want to meet the pitch out in front of the hip a little bit, right? So a little bit more back, somewhere between there, I would say. And then on pitches inside pitches. On pitches on the outside half, we want to meet them closer to our front hip or slightly behind our front hip and think right center on them. Like, just work right center through that pitch on the outside half, all right? So lots of things good here, right, outside of the timing. And you're going to see that as well, all right? So heel to the sky, standard, right? So the head posture over the knee tells us that you're at a 50-50 position at the point of contact. You're balanced. The barrel's just out in front because you're a little bit early. This front leg goes from flexion to extension, and your top hand is palm up, palm down, which is super important. At the point of contact, your top hand's palm should always be to the sky. If it's not to the sky, it's either rolled over or you're late. if in a perfect world you want to have the palm to the sky for as long as you can through the hitting zone. All right. And then we can see here that your head and your eyes are down to the ball. I know it kind of looks blurry, but it is. So again, your swing is a high level swing, and the reason why this review is super important, and I'm pointing out also stuff that you need to maybe work on a little bit, and more so the stride, the timing. Oh, and before I forget, so your brother knows when he watches this, a big thing that was happening is he couldn't get to the outside half, right? Or even pitches that on the high school field would be like a ball size off the plate, but the umpire may call, and because of that, he's lunging at that pitch, or he's just trying to stick his hands at that pitch. And again, that's creating disconnection from your body, Dev. So you want to make sure that you can stay as tight as you can with your swing while getting complete plate coverage. So what I told him is he has to move forward, and you have to make sure that you literally, Dev, again, you have to be able to hit a baseball that's off the outside of the plate with the barrel while keeping the barrel flush to your body. You cannot allow the barrel to get that far away from your body at the point of contact. You need to meet the ball back here, and or like a little bit more out in front than that. Anywhere between there and maybe the next frame. Let's see. No, somewhere in between there though. So somewhere here or a little bit after, and that's where you want to meet it. You don't want to meet every pitch way out here, especially if that's your fastball timing. Because if that's your fastball timing, off speed is going to eat you up. All right. So lots of good stuff. Now let me jump over to this really quick. I got the back angle as well to show you what the scap load would look like. So, and there's a couple other things here that are important to point out. So the first thing that I noticed on this page was, or this video rather, is the fact that the elbow comes back, and on this swing it shows you how he's a little bit early. The foot's not down yet, and then the foot finally gets down, the elbow's already down a bit. We want to make sure that the elbow is like in this position almost at the point of landing, and we want to make sure that the barrel, which it does at the point of landing, goes here. So that's the position you want to be in at the point of landing from this angle here. If the barrel's not along the backside of the head, and the scap's not, and the elbow's not going back into the scat or the lat, right? The scap or the lat, well then you're not. So first off, you're not loading your hands to create enough space to hit the inside pitch if you're not in this position where the lat's being pinched, and as well as if the bat's too vertical, you're not going to be able to get to the inside pitch and not be able to rotate the bat as flush to the body. Nonetheless, though, this position's fine because if we were to go to the foot landing, he gets to that position where the barrel is behind the head, right? Just like I showed in the other angle. But the issue is that prior to the leg coming down, the elbow's going down. It's got to be load back, and I'm going to show you this in a second. Load back, and then once the leg lands, say you landed here, that's when the elbow comes down. That's when the elbow comes down. All right? So that's that. But then we come here, and I want to show you some stuff. All right? So this is Austin Riley. Not your frame, but it's a really good depiction of, like, where you want to be and how you want to move. So this is going to show you the relationship between the front leg and the hands and how it should look from this side angle. There. Right there. So if you play that again, and I can send this to you, see how the elbow's going back? And then once the foot hits, the elbow's still there, and there's the barrel. And there's the landing point, right? So there's a lot of good stuff here to show you exactly what I was saying when I said, your swing's like a big leaguer's. And that's going to bring me to my last point. And the last point is the thing I've said to you, is like, you need a lift. And like, I'm not talking about like lifting like twice a week or once a week or 3 times a week and then doing it only for a couple months. If you want to be as good as you can be, and this is me telling you because I think you have a ton of potential, like, you need to lift 5 days a week. And like, I can help you with a lifting plan if you need one. as well as I can help you with like eating habits, anything of that nature that can help elevate your game. Because what a lot of kids don't realize is the most metrical gains you can get is from the gym. And the hardest part about baseball development actually is the consistency and discipline required to do the things that you already do well and continue to create positive um, repetitions and positive tendencies so that way you don't fall out of your mechanics, or so that way you can work towards your mechanics and knock out the bad habits, right? As well as, again, going to the gym 4 or 5 times a week year round, like having a mobility routine. Like it's all, you control your destiny. And that's what I've been telling kids for years. You control where you end up. And like, if you don't have the information to help you do those things, then just ask, or I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you anyways. So that's really important to understand, and you're gonna see what I'm saying in a second. All right. So from here we got the elbow load. So we got this angle, right? This is Francisco Lindor. So sorry. So we can't see his foot, right? But what we can see is how the elbow works back just like yours, and then as soon as the foot lands, it comes down, right? Austin shows us that the elbow doesn't come down, right? We can see the foot down here. The elbow doesn't come down till the foot touches. And if I was to play Austin Riley swing from this angle on like a YouTube, you would see that the elbow then comes down from this point because obviously the foot's down and eventually you have to start to swing. All right. From there we go launch position, right? And there's like tons of these ones out here, like tons of this image, lefty, righty, even more righties than this, even more lefties than are even on this frame. But this was a clean graphic, and you can see that you land very similarly to a lot of these dudes. Now, what you're gonna look at is you're gonna like, well, why are their bases wide, right? And what I explained to you today at practice is, well, these dudes are bigger than you. And they may not look bigger than you. It's like Steph Curry, right? Everyone's like, oh, Steph Curry is like small. Yeah, small compared to a guy that's 7'2", 7'3". He's not small compared to everybody else, you know? So when I say that, right, it's really important to understand that, like, you gotta, and that's why it's stay within yourself, stay compact. That's why that wording is used a lot in baseball. That lingo is used a lot in baseball because kids try to like one for one mimic everything the pros do, and I'm very big on using what the pros do, as you see. But you need to also understand, like, I'm me. I need to move how I need to move, and my body needs to land in this position because I'm not, again, I am not Albert Pujols. Look how wide Albert Pujols' legs are. That dude's a big dude, right? But if you look at like Buster Posey or Maglio Ordonez, like these dudes are not big dudes and they're more compact, right? So that's really important to see. And again, I'm trying to draw lines, and there's the elbow again, and you can see the barrel working behind, right? And then here's another one where it's just a ton of people. Wait, why is this not playing? Let me refresh it. This one's giving me issues. Not good. All right, but this is, I'll send this to you. There's tons of MLB big leaguers that are doing the elbow down. I mean, because that's just how the kinetic sequence is supposed to work. And then the last thing is we got Machado, right? And Machado was the comp I brought up in the beginning. He's obviously 6'4". You're not 6'4", but your frames and your movement tendencies are a lot similar. It's a matter of, again, staying within yourself. So you can use Machado as a comp. That's perfectly fine. But acknowledge that the width and the base of his legs, again, and the way he lands into them is going to be much different because he's a bigger dude. All right? So there we go. And we can see here, and I don't know how this is going to appear to you, is the elbow is going to come down to the hip, the barrel's going to work behind him, and then the barrel's going to follow the shoulder. And then if we were to pause there, here, let me go back, sorry. Let me let it play again. I'm going to pause at the point of contact. Okay, here we go. Boom, there. You can see everything I talked about. Heel to the sky, front foot locked out, eyes down to the ball. You can't see palm up, palm down because of the distance, right? But you can see every single thing I mentioned, the you have one of the best hitters and third basemen of all time doing. So, again, to review the whole premise of this video, a lot of kids, some kids need baseball skill work, right? Some kids need mechanical hitting work. Most kids, almost all kids, need hitting and dietary. And that's the most underutilized aspect for development and training and pushed, all right? So, and you're somebody who I see, like, when we did fielding last summer for that a couple days, right? Like, you're somebody who has a lot of fielding potential. There's some mechanical stuff there that you have to work on, but the athleticism's there, right? Then I see your hitting, and you see it and hear it in this review. Your hitting doesn't really need to be touched all that much. So where are you going to get more gains? How is your exit velocity going to get higher? How are you going to hit the ball harder? That's the way the weight room comes in, right? And weight room's going to improve your speed. Weight room's going to improve how strong you are. Weight room's going to improve how durable you are on the mound, how hard you throw. There's no negativity to it. It improves every single metric to help improve your chance to get recruited collegiately. All right, so this is the video. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions. I have tons of this stuff to send if you need it. Other than that, talk to you later.